Good morning, Year 4. I hope you are all ready for another reading session. I know that I am. Before we get stuck into our inference questions, we're just going to do a quick recap of the 8 bits of vocabulary that we have focused on this week, and you will see that they are all behind me over there. If you would like to pause this video now just to refresh your mind with the words, the definitions, and the actions, now is the time to do it, and resume when you are ready to go. So hopefully you've had a chance to look through those key words again. What we're going to do this time, we'll do the opposite to yesterday. I'm going to give you the action for the words, and then I would like you to call out what word I am doing the action for. So let's start off nice and simple. Which word does this action belong to? So hopefully you're calling out stamped there. Remember, moving down with force, stamped. Next word. Or calling out neighbouring there. Very good, excellent. So that's our second word. Neighbouring means located close to or next to something else. Okay, next one. Let's go for, if I'm cutting a straight line along something, that is slit. Yes, very good. Moving on to our fourth word now. Very good. Consequences. Consequences. Something that results in or comes after something or because of something. Very good. Next word. One of my favorites. Squealed, of course, which is when you let out a long, shrill, high-pitched scream or sound. Very good. Next word. Concern, of course. Concern. Very good. Final 2 words now. Let's go for, drawing that imaginary halo on my head, pure. Very good, pure. And then the final one, you may be able to tell which one is going to come next out of process of elimination. Proudly. Very good. Hand on heart, showing that I'm really proud of something. Very good. Excellent, guys. I think we've learned those words really well, and hopefully those will be ingrained in your mind, ready to use in your writing or in just a normal conversation. So we are going to be looking at our inference questions today, and I've got an example one on the board. So just allow me to share my screen. Sorry, apologies. There we go. Excellent. So the first inference question that we've got, how can you tell that Pellegrina is aiming the story at Edward? Of course, this is the story, the fairy tale that's being read to Edward and Aveline just before bed. So remember, what's the difference again? We looked at literal questions yesterday where the answer is in the text. What is an inference question again? Hopefully we're all getting the inference questions are questions that you've got to do a bit of deducing, a bit of detective work to find the answer. The answer may not be there in the text, but there will be little clues. So you've got to use your knowledge of the story to come up with an answer using your inference. So how can you tell that Pellegrina is aiming the story at Edward? So this particular question that we're looking at today, and there are a few of them in your inference questions, are how can you tell questions. So if it's a how can you tell question, that means that you're having to give your own opinion or thoughts about something. So how can you tell that that Pellegrina is aiming the story at Edward? Now, just because you're giving your idea of something, it doesn't mean that you can just completely make it up. You've still got a page number here, page 35, where you're going to find some evidence to help you. So we're going to follow our steps to success just like usual. So number 1, we're going to underline the key words in the question. Now, these are the things that we're really looking for in the in page 35 that are going to give us some information to answer this question. So our key words, I would say, if we're going through. So Pellegrina, she's definitely going to be a key part of this. However, I would say that as she's the one reading the story, her name's going to come up quite a lot. She's almost the main character in this particular chapter. She's the one that's reading the story. I'd say story is definitely one of the key words. Edward, normally he's the main character, but because he's not central to this this chapter, he might actually be a really good one to use. And I'm also going to underline aiming as well. So we're looking for any information. We're going to skim and scan the text for these key words, or words that give us the idea that it's being aimed at or read to Edward. So let's have a look at page 35 and skim and scan for those keywords: aiming, story, and Edward. So we've got page 35 out here in front of me, being very nice and organized here. So let's go through. We're looking for Edward, aiming, and story. So no mention of Edward just yet. It's just Pellegrina and Abilene. Okay, right. So we've got two key words here that I can see. Can you spot them? So we've got story here, and as part of the same sentence, Edward. So two of our keywords have come up, so I'm sure this is going to be a really important paragraph. Now, our next step, read around the keywords before we come up with our answer. So let's start at the top of the sentence here. At this point in her story, Pellegrina stopped and looked right at Edward. So that's really helpful. So it's telling us that it's aimed at Edward. How do we know? Well, it says that she looked right at Edward, so that's going to give us some more information. But let's finish off the paragraph as well, just to see if there's any more information. She stared deep into his painted-on eyes, and again, Edward felt a shiver go through him. So remember, the question is, how do we know that Pellegrina is aiming this story at Edward? Well, I would say the key fact here is that she looked right at Edward, as well as staring deep into his painted-on eyes. So those are the two bits of information. So let's go back to the question and write our answer. So it says here, how can you tell that Pellegrina is aiming the story at Edward? So I'm going to start with, I can tell that Pellegrina is aiming the story at Edward. Remember, if we're writing a full sentence, we want to reword that question so it definitely answers it. I can tell that Pellegrina is aiming the story at Edward, because, and then I can choose either of those facts. Remember, that's she looked right at Edward or stared deep into his eyes. So I can tell that Pellegrina is aiming the story at Edward because she is staring into his eyes. Full stop. So next step, we're going to check our answer makes sense. I can tell that Pellegrina is aiming the story at Edward because she is staring into his eyes. Grammatically definitely makes sense. Let's see step 5. Does it answer the question? How can you tell, so it's looking for my opinion, that Pellegrina is aiming the story at Edward? I can tell, so we're definitely answering the how you can tell bit, that Pellegrina is aiming the story at Edward because she is staring into his eyes. And we're definitely answering that part of the question as well. So it's your turn now to move on with the inference. So here are your questions for today. A lot of these ones can be done on the sheet, but some of them need to be written as full sentences as well. So that's what we're really going to be looking for when you upload this on Seesaw. You've got your steps to success here. And your inference questions, of course, right in front of you. And your extension, if you get to that, which would be terrific. If the king's men had come across the witch's hut while looking for the princess, what do you think might have happened? Write a paragraph explaining what you think might happen. So again, you're having to use your inference there to explain what you think would have happened if the king's men had come across the witch's hut and what they would have done. So that is your task. Pause the video now and we will go through the answers once you're finished. Off you go. So guys, hopefully you've had a chance now to complete your inference questions and maybe even the extension as well, using these steps to help you. So let's go through the answers now. So I'm going to leave those up on the screen. She wandered for many days. In this sentence, the word wandered is closest meaning to roamed. Feel free to tick these as we go along. How can you tell the witch didn't want to be disturbed? She didn't answer the door at first, or she said, if you must, when telling the princess to enter. So there are two reasons that you could have given. Just one of those is fine. Question 3, how can you tell the princess is spoilt? Well, because she expected and demanded the witch to help her. My father, said the princess, is a powerful king. You must help or there will be consequences. In this extract, what does the word powerful in closest mean? What the word powerful is closest in meaning to influential, which means that he has a lot of influence, a lot of power. Number 5, you dare talk to me of consequences. Oh, very well then, we will speak of consequences. Tell me the name of the one you love. So you need to say which words in that extract tells you that the witch is insulted by the princess's threats. The word there would be dare. How can you tell the witch didn't feel bad about turning the princess into a warthog? Well, she went straight back to counting her money, didn't she? If she was really bothered with it, she may have turned her back or back into a princess, or she may have been in tears or something like that, but she went straight back to counting her gold, so she didn't really care at all. And number 7, why did Abilene say no after she heard the king's men shot the warthog princess? The reason is because she couldn't believe that the main character had died and there wasn't a happy ending. So she was quite shocked or upset about that. Very well done, guys. So that is our inference questions. Those are our inference questions done for this week. Join me again, same time tomorrow, where we're going to be answering the big question. Look forward to seeing you all then, guys. Have a lovely day of home learning. Bye-bye.